we've created a community that provides a whole bunch of solutions.
And from that, we get a non-toxic, renewable, sustainable fuel.
Sustainable, affordable, beautiful, safe.
They work great, they don't have all the problems that they used to have, and they can be reused over and over again.
We did about 1,800 pounds out of this garden.
In an ecologically sound garden, everything's going to be in balance.
Everything that comes in and out gets scrutiny.
That's a huge impact on the environment.
Go Green, a Family Matters Earth Day special.
Hello, I'm KATU meteorologist Dave Selesky, and welcome to Go Green. We live in a place that takes great pride in living an earth-friendly lifestyle. In the next half hour, we'll show you simple things you can do and meet inspiring people working to help ease the burden on our environment. The Northwest is well known for its beer, but the process takes an awful lot of water. We visited a Hood River favorite, pioneering ways to make brewing taste great, but with less impact on our environment.
This year, Full Sail as a brewery will produce about 115,000 barrels of beer, and those beers are in production every week, bottled, packaged, brewed, everything. Brewing as an industry can tend to be very wasteful if you're not on top of it. All the material we use is recycled glass, recycled paperboard, we recycle all the plastic wrap, we recycle all our pallets. Everything that comes in and out gets scrutiny. We're an energy and water intense business, and so maximizing those efficiency of those pieces are really important. So as a brewery in particular, we want to be responsible on our water usage. We have a wonderful water source here in Hood River, and it feeds the city of Hood River, and it's very soft, makes excellent brewing water, and we want to conserve that as much as we can. Hood River is a small town, and we're a big water user in a small town. We also want to partner with them, so we also have our own waste treatment on site, so we treat all our own waste. When you were looking around the brewery, you can see all the floor washing and stuff that comes through the process itself. It all gets collected and pumped into these tanks right here. When we do our own waste treatment, we want to reduce our outgoing waste at least 500 to 1 so the city doesn't actually see us as a load on their system. This is the wort chiller, and essentially there are plates inside, very thin stainless plates. Every other frame, the wort, which is unfermented beer, runs, and the other frame is water. Now we have to cool the wort from boiling down to pitching temperature, where it's about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Water coming from Cold Spring and Stone Spring is very cold, so we can actually use it to cool the wort down and collect that hot water for the next brew, so we don't have to add any hot water and we don't have to waste what's coming out of here. So we produce about 3 million gallons of our own hot water every year that comes right from this machine. This is a Mura mash filter. We're only one of 2 people our size that actually have one of these. The biggest things about this is it's very fast, makes very high quality wort or unfermented beer, and it makes very dry spent grains, which in itself is water saving. And if you look in the frames, you can see how dry the malt is. You mash malted barley and you capture all the sugar out of it you can, and then what's left is husk. And what this machine does is get really dry spent grains. So you end up with less water use and also with less trucks of spent grain being on the road. Per brew, it saved us about 800 gallons of water, which weighs 6,400 pounds that you're not then putting on a truck and shipping somewhere. So we were able to save about 70 truckloads of spent grain. It also reduced our water use from 3.5 gallons for every gallon of beer down to 2.5 gallons for every gallon of beer, which is very low indeed. So we reduced our water consumption in 1 year by over 1 million gallons of water. You have choices all the time as a business of how you approach your business and how you go to market. And you always have to take a step back and say, you know, are the things we're investing in important? Do they help? Are they more efficient? Efficiency matters. Not only is it good for business, but it's good for the environment as well. In the end, it is about the beer. The beer has to be really good. But I would like people to always come in and look a little deeper and say, wait, these guys are employee owned. You know, they're doing the right thing with the environment, because I think in the whole that is your virtuous circle.
For more information, head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. There you'll find a complete resource center with links, video clips, and information to help you go green. From open fields to family parks, there is a bounty growing all around us. We tagged along with an expert to discover a feast just waiting to be found.
My name is John Kalis.
I take people into nature and show them how to turn wild plants into food. Foraging is different from hunting or fishing because what you're going after is basically just available, it's right in front of you, you don't have to chase it. Most of the time you're looking for edible wild plants. This is a good find. The benefit of wild foods are that they add variety. You've got hundreds of additional plants that you can be eating from every day. Some plants have multiple edible parts at different stages of growth, and you need to recognize what they look like in order to harvest those parts. Just going to cut it with my scissors. Wild foods have a full span of flavors. You've got sour flavors like sorrels, and you've got pungent flavors like mustards, and you have the bitter greens. And so you have the full span of flavors going in the wild. So it's just a matter of coming in as an educated person, knowing what you're getting so you're not going to be confused or poisoned. But if you know what you're doing, then you get delectable, delicious stuff just like you were in the grocery store. All cultures all over the world started out as foragers, and they made their living off of the plants that were all around them. If you start looking at all of nature as a source of food, your lawn, an open field, then you're less likely to be polluting that. You're less likely to say, let's spread herbicide all over this to kill this particular plant. So if everywhere is looked at as a source of food, then people are less likely to pollute, they're more likely to take care of the land, be better stewards of land, and then we'll all be better off.
For more information on foraging, just head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. It's a great temptation to use dangerous chemicals to keep your garden pest-free, but we found ways to let Mother Nature take over to help your garden survive and thrive.
If you have a diversified garden and you reduce or eliminate your use of broad-spectrum pesticides, then a lot of the natural controls that are already present in your garden will help to keep the pest numbers down without the use of pesticides. The natural controls include beneficial insects that are predators or parasitoids of insect pests. They either directly eat the pest or they lay their eggs inside of the pest and actually use the pest as a pest control factory where they rear their young, which will hatch out into adults that will help you further natural pest control in your garden. Ladybugs are one of what I like to call the big three of natural pest control in the garden. The ladybug adults do eat aphids, whiteflies, thrips, and other small soft-bodied insects, but it's really the ladybug larvae which do a fantastic job of keeping pest numbers down in the garden. The main reason that is because ladybug adults are pretty distracted with finding a mate, reproducing and laying their eggs, whereas the ladybug larvae, their only job and their only focus is eating and eating a lot. Ladybugs are not herbivorous, they are not going to feed on the plants, they really are just after the insects that are feeding on the plants. You can purchase ladybugs and release them in your garden, but I wouldn't recommend that as a pest control method. Most studies show that ladybugs that are purchased and then released in a garden pretty much fly off soon after they're released. Instead, the better thing to do is to make your garden very attractive to ladybugs by reducing or eliminating your use of pesticides, as well as planting a variety of flowering plants that will offer the ladybugs nectar or pollen when pests aren't present. Number two, I would consider to be green lacewings. And the same thing with green lacewings as with the ladybugs, you're going to get more pest control power with green lacewing larvae than you are going to have with the adults. The third natural insect control that I really consider to be a power player in the garden is a syrphid fly, which some people also call hoverflies or flower flies. It's the larvae, once again, that really help with natural pest control. They eat a lot of aphids, whiteflies, and other soft-bodied insects in the garden. So one of the main things to remember when you're transitioning from using pesticides as a pest control method to going pesticide-free, you're not going to have a garden that's free of insect pest. To me, a garden that's free of insect pest is really a dead biological zone. Instead, when you go pesticide-free, you have to be more tolerant of low numbers of pest insects in the garden and recognize that that's actually a good thing because those low numbers of pests help to feed beneficial insects in the garden so that you have continual production and reproduction of those beneficial predatory insects season long.
For more information on how to keep your garden pesticide-free, head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. It's an important ingredient in the restaurant industry, but it could also cause a nasty buildup on our environment. We followed the people taking used cooking oil and turning it into power.
Biodiesel is a non-toxic, renewable fuel made from vegetable oil. It can be made from any sort of vegetable oil, whether it's soybean, coconut, corn oil. We prefer to make it from actually used cooking oil. So we can take any of those vegetable oils after it's been used in the food production process and make biodiesel out of it. So we're able to extract the energy from this waste oil in the back of restaurants, and we feel that's the best use for it. We collect from over 7,000 restaurants in the Northwest to produce the over 500,000 gallons a month of biodiesel.
Well, for the oil collection, it's really quite simple. We have a route of participating customers. We've supplied them with containers. The truck goes around and pumps them out, brings it back here where we do the filtration and the evaporation to clean up the used cooking oil so it can become biodiesel.
So the truck pulls up, we put a cam lock onto the back of the truck, and we basically offload the product through our trough. The trough is sort of an initial filter just to get rid of some of the larger food particles. The oil then goes to one of our tanks, the steam sparge tank. We're actually able to heat the oil up, and really what we're doing is we're baking out the water and some of the sediment that's in there. We then put the oil through an oil dryer, which reduces the water even further. We're eliminating and removing the glycerin molecule. And from that, we get a non-toxic, renewable, sustainable fuel. As far as the clean burning, biodiesel has 78% fewer emissions than petroleum diesel, which is significant across the board from carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, air toxics. So it's a significantly cleaner burn, and it's renewable and sustainable. Our goal is to sort of localize our fuel sources as much as we can, and we feel collecting cooking oil and making biodiesel out of it is one of the many steps in that direction.
For more information on biodiesel, head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com.
Hi, my name is Carl Graham, and I'm a natural gardening specialist at Metro, your regional government, and I'm here to talk about native plants for your garden. Now, native plants are fantastic because research shows that wildlife are attracted and supported by them, and these wildlife are not just beautiful to see, but the birds, bees, and butterflies that are attracted to native plants actually help your garden grow. So what is a native plant? It just means it's from around here. If you live in the Willamette Valley, then Willamette Valley natives are best for you. But anything from west of the Cascades are likely going to do just fine. This here is Oregon sedum. It's a great ground cover for sun or shade, and it provides habitat low to the ground. It's always good to have a lot of structure in your garden where you have things that are very low, things that are medium sized, and things that are tall to provide diverse habitats for the wildlife. Red flowering currant is a great deciduous shrub for sun or shade that attracts and supports our native hummingbirds, the Rufus and Anna's hummingbirds. The other great thing about native plants is that they've had thousands of years to adapt to the climate and the soils here, and also to co-evolve with the native wildlife here. But you still have to put the right plant in the right place. So you want to put the shade lovers in the shade, like this sword fern that provides habitat for slug-eating black beetles, which is fantastic. So when you dig your hole, you want to make sure that the hole is about the same depth as the plant and about at least twice as wide. And then you want to put sun lovers in the sun, like this California fescue, which is actually native to the Willamette Valley. I'm going to tease the roots a little bit before you put it in the hole. Remember to tamp the soil down at the bottom of the hole so that the plant does not sink over time. You want to firm the soil around the plant so there's no air pockets, and make sure that the plant is about the same height as the soil or a little bit higher. So native plants are great for attracting wildlife that'll help your garden grow, also making it easier to be pesticide-free, which protects our rivers and streams from polluted runoff. To learn about which native plants are right for your yard, Metro has a free pamphlet that you can get from our website or by calling 234-3000.
It's a problem we always seem to deal with. Dead batteries piling up. We found a man who took on the problem and created a convenient solution.
One of the core goals of Battery is to reduce the alkaline batteries that are going into the landfills. I have a 12-year-old daughter at home, and she and our family were using a lot of batteries a couple years ago, and I got fed up with going to the grocery store and spending $4 or $4.50 a pack for a 4-pack, and then throwing them out. And at the same time, my daughter's babysitter introduced me to the DVD automated kiosks that allow you to rent movies, take them home, and share them. And that's where the original idea came from. Using the battery swap station is really easy. You just touch the screen to begin, and you'll see that you're given options to buy new batteries, swap your drained batteries, or recycle alkalines. You just simply touch a button and select how many battery packs you'd like. They come in packs of 4. So let's say I would like a pack of 4 AA's and 4 AAA's. You press continue, and then swipe your credit or debit card, and then your batteries come out down below. It's as simple as that. Then you just take them home. We dispense them in reusable packages of 4. You take them home and use them just like regular alkaline batteries. And when you're done, you put them back in our reusable case, put them back in the swap station, and you can swap for new, freshly recharged batteries for about $2.50 for a 4-pack, which is a big cost savings over regular alkaline batteries.
Having alkaline batteries in our landfills and in our environment are not eco-friendly at all. So the possibility of having that partnership to offer our customers that product and that service to be able to swap batteries out, the rechargeable batteries, was super intriguing, and we were really excited to be the first ones to be able to make that partnership.
One of these batteries will replace 500 standard alkaline batteries. It can be used 500 times more compared to one regular alkaline battery.
In order to make this work, this service has to be as convenient as possible. We're not asking people to drive out of their way or adopting a reusable product that's harder or more expensive. And so we would like these to be everywhere. The whole idea of batteries started with a simple observation that batteries were difficult to use, they were inconvenient, and we came up with this great idea, and I think this is a great example of a sustainable business where people can build great businesses, create jobs, and at the same time doing something great for the environment.
For more information on Battery, just head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. It started out as a simple idea with a small plot of land, just like this one. And now, 1 year later, our friends at Providence Health and Services have taken a community garden and turned it into a bumper crop for their neighbors.
Well, for about 10 years, 15 years, this was an empty lot. There was nothing here but grass. The original plan was to have 6 raised beds, and as you can see, there's a lot more. Originally, this was all started by the Milwaukee Hospital Green Team. And from there, it went on to almost every department within the hospital, including surgeons, coming out here and working and helping. And I really feel that it's brought the hospital together.
Through all of the energy that the staff had, we were able to expand quite a bit to put in 24 raised beds, 12 fruit trees, and keep expanding with berries and more beds this year. We have some apples, cherries, and pear trees. We also have some raspberries and blueberries. For vegetables, we kind of rotate it based off spring, summer, and fall crops. So we'll do root veggies, radishes, potatoes, turnips, kale. As things started to get to the point of harvesting, we would work with a couple of the local organizations every week to donate and to harvest on a regular basis and get the fresh produce to them right away.
Last year we did about 1,800 pounds out of this garden. It went down the hill to Hillside Manor through the Oregon Food Bank.
It's really vital that our communities find these partnerships really important, that our food systems become healthier so that We're not shipping food from our location and into communities, but rather that they come up and through the communities.
Access to fresh fruits and vegetables is always hard for anybody, and especially those that might be the poor and vulnerable or those in need. And for it to come this close to home is just wonderful.
My goal would be to have one of these at every hospital. Some of them don't have the land. Maybe we'll do some raised beds or pots or something like that, just to have some sort of a garden at each facility, because it does promote a healthy community, which is healthy patients.
We take care of patients every day in our different clinical roles, and it was just an extension of that. It's great to work for an organization and a company that, that supports and believes in this kind of initiative. It's pretty exciting and impressive, I think, to bring out the mission of Providence.
The process of shipping packages can create loads of waste for any company. But we found one tough mother that's putting the idea of reuse to good use.
So Columbia Sportswear is a leading developer of apparel, equipment, accessories. We sell in over 100 different countries worldwide. We have just a ton of boxes that come through our distribution center. They come from all over the place. People are sending returns in boxes from different companies, boxes from that they've had laying around the house. And we didn't want to just send those to the recycle center. We wanted to encourage people to reuse those boxes in some capacity. And we decided to give consumers who buy online the opportunity to ship their boxes in a reused box instead of new package material. So they'll go through the checkout process, and right there in their shipping options, they'll see they could either have it shipped to them traditionally, or they can select to ship through a reused box. Through the Reuse Box program, we introduced a program called A Box Life. Every box that leaves our warehouse gets a Box Life sticker. On that sticker is an individual unique tracking code. People can either scan that tracking code with their phone or go ahead and go to aboxlife.com, plug in their code, and go ahead and track it and have a little fun with it. The box that's traveled the most has gone over 11,000 miles. It's made stops in California, Puerto Rico, and Japan. It's just a fun way for the community to get engaged, encourage people to reuse boxes. Since the program's inception in 2009, over 750,000 orders have been shipped in reuse boxes. What's great about the Reuse Box program is this is something that any company can do. Everyone has distribution centers and boxes coming in and out of them. And the amount of packaging that's used, specifically in the e-commerce realm of shipping to consumers, is pretty significant. And anything we can do to reduce that will definitely help the planet going forward and create less of a carbon footprint.
For more information about A Box Life, head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. They're popping up in neighborhoods just like these, and it's taking the idea of downsizing to build a bigger, earth-conscious community.
Most of the time when people step into a house like this, they're surprised at how big it feels. Anything smaller than about 200 square feet and built on wheels is what we would call a little house. I mean, when you tell somebody that your house is roughly the same size as an 8x10 area rug, they can't fathom being happy in a space like that. So when they step in and all of a sudden, they feel this expansive space, and it doesn't feel like you're, kind of standing in a tiny little galley. You actually can have a sense of space. They love it. I built my house. It cost me $10,000 and it took me 3 months to build it. And I was working full time. So it's a small package, and if you already know how to build a little bit, you can crack it open pretty fast. We work with folks who want to design their own little house and help them really rethink space so that they create efficient, beautiful, workable space that's going to work over time.
We started thinking about putting a tiny house in our back corner of the property to kind of fill out the pod. Now we're 3 peas in a pod. And tiny houses came to us because our good friend Dee Williams moved in her tiny house. We decided that was just the ticket for us. For our friend Gina, who lives part-time here and part-time in Africa and France because she does relief work. So this was a really great solution for her.
Part of the challenge in our existing building code is that if you wanted to put a little structure on your property, it would have to be a certain size. And this is too small. This is too small to be an accessory dwelling unit. So by putting it on wheels, you don't have to meet the regulation for accessory dwelling units. All of a sudden you've got a completely different package.
Because it's on wheels and because it's smaller than 200 square feet and because she doesn't live in it full time, then, you know, we've created a community that provides a whole bunch of solutions. Things that we were hoping to create, like a community.
Going smaller, it's more environmentally friendly, less materials. A single light bulb can light the whole place up, so your carbon footprint shrinks. So you've got this really cute structure that looks like home, that's built well with environmentally friendly materials. The thing that a little house offers is an opportunity to live differently. We really do have a lot of social messaging that tells us that we need to have larger, sexier houses. And so to kind of step away from that gives you a freedom to kind of be who you want to be.
We've only scratched the surface on ways to ease the burden on our planet. For more information, head to the Family Matters section at KATU.com. There, you'll find a complete resource center with links, video clips, and information to help you go green. For K2 and Family Matters, I'm Dave Selesky. Good night.